I know I can get a good spin. It can happen. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Week 6 of the Fordyce Budget Build-Off. If not familiar with the series, Matt from the Scale Builders Guild and myself have taken the Vanquish VS4-10 Fordyce and we're upgrading it every week. This is an 8-week series, and during this series, we've determined the budget that we have for the week by spinning a wheel of chance, the wheel of Fordyce. And last week, my result from the live stream takeover, spinning of the wheel, was again not as good as Matt's. This time I got foreign part. And we defined that before as we had to buy and use a product from a company that we had never used before. And I've been in and around this market for a very long time. Even a lot of the little brands I've owned parts from. So this week was, it was a bit of a stretch, finding something that I wanted for the truck, but from a brand that I've never used. So I found a way to satisfy all the check boxes. But this week, as always, I'm going to try and do something for performance and something for style. Last week, we worked on the rear bed a bit, and I showed you the two options that I came up with, and we swapped to the low profile option. That's the one that I liked the best, and the comments seem to agree with me as well. So swapped to that low profile one. It's back in there, and I like the way that it looks. This week, we're gonna do a couple of things. I mentioned last week that we were gonna work on an interior, and that is indeed what we're going to be working on. Also, I wanna add a little bit more performance, and I'm gonna do that by adding some more overdrive. We've swapped out the rear ring and pinion set for an underdrive ring and pinion, and that gave us about 10%. But the transmission has 6.5% out of the box. However, I'm going to increase that. I'm going to go to a 21% overdrive in that VFD, and it's a simple swap. All we're going to do is swap in these gears and these bearing plates. Pretty easy to do, but going to make a huge difference in this truck. Something that I think is going to be super noticeable. I like to do that in just about all of my vehicles, and this is going to be set up just the way that I like it as well. But onto the interior side, we're going to be doing a couple of things. I'm going to remove the body, and of course the interior itself probably going to attach to the body, but I'm not going to do it just by doing that. I'm going to actually move some stuff around on the chassis as well, because I want to put in some seats that I've designed, and I'll show you those here in a second. But to do that, I need to add a little bit more clearance. Now, the VS4-10 Fordyce has the molded battery tray here just behind the transmission. Works for packs, 5,000, 6,000 milliamps. However, typically that's not the size battery pack I end up running. I usually run fairly small, 1,300, 1,800 milliamp packs when I'm doing trail rides. Sometimes I'll go up to like the 3,600 adventure packs, but that's pretty much my upper limit. So this size battery tray I really don't need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this rear battery tray, and I'm going to be mounting my battery on the side. Now typically I take one of these Velcro straps from the battery tray and I put it through underneath of one of the side electronics trays, and it works pretty well. But I have had a battery come loose here or there from time to time, so I'm going to just take the opportunity to design up a simple little battery tray that I can drop in there, and I know the battery will be held solid. And I'll just put that battery tray up for free. No charge. Partially because I don't have the budget left to add much of that into this week. So it's got to be free for you guys. I'm going to throw that in there. That'll allow me some more space over the top area where I plan to put my seats. Now, for my seats this week, I've got something that is new for me. I came up with a design for a seat that is done out of aluminum, and it's a fold it yourself type seat design. Now this was actually designed after a drag racing style seat called a containment seat. You'll also see these in things like monster trucks and a lot of off-road trucks as well. It's got some restraints and padding to support both your shoulders and your actual helmet when you're in a vehicle like that getting jostled around. I designed up this to mimic that style. Now, of course, it doesn't look like that in this scenario, but once it gets folded into the way that I designed it, it does. I designed these up in Fusion 360 and then had them sent off to Send Cut Send to have laser cut like this. I'm gonna put this together and then I'm gonna show you the additional detail that I went into to dress these seats up. But first, I'm going to drop in that 21% overdrive. We're gonna strip the stock battery tray out of the chassis, and we're gonna get the side-mounted battery tray designed up, printed, and ready. To start this week's updates, the first thing we're gonna do is remove the battery tray. There's 4 screws holding the battery tray down onto the sliders. Then there's 5 screws that hold it to the rear cross brace. Once that's loose, we can remove the Velcro straps from the tray. We are going to reuse one of them. We're going to remove the VFD transmission by removing the 5 screws on the top portion and the 1 screw on the bottom side of the skid plate. From there, we need to remove the 3 screws holding the back side of the transfer case onto the housing. Inside the transfer case, we are going to need to replace the front 2 gears from this. We also need to replace the bearing plates that are inside of the T-case. So to do that, we're going to need to remove all of the gears from the transfer case. We're also going to need to remove the bearings and the bearing plates. Locate the bearing plate and you can thread in the spacer that is included with it. This just helps keep the 2 bearing plates properly spaced apart so that they cannot walk inwards towards the gears. Make sure that all of the bearings are in place and put the bearing plate into the front side of the transfer case. From there, we'll reinstall the factory input gear in the transfer case and the factory output gear for the rear axle. The new machined gear that has the shaft machined into it is the idler gear. That will go in the center position. And finally, we'll remove the stock output gear from the front output gear that we originally had, and we'll replace it with the new machined output gear. Replacing these 2 gears and the bearing plates is what allows us to get the 21% overdrive. We need to replace the rear bearing plate as well. This one was still inside of the back half of the transfer case housing. Pull that out, remove the bearings, get everything put back together, make sure and add some grease to the gear set, and then you can redo the steps to put this transmission back into the chassis. The new battery tray design is a pretty straightforward and simple one. It's at a little bit of an angle in the actual chassis. That's just for a handful of clearance issues that I was running into that I was trying to maximize for. I designed this tray to fit up to a 3600 milliamp adventure pack from Genzace. It's about as large as I ever run, and it gives you a ton of runtime. So you can probably fit a taller pack in there yet, but this should pretty much cover it. I'm going to be running 1300 milliamp 3 cells most of the time, so that's kind of my ideal setup. My flat plate aluminum seat design is kind of just a fold until everything matches up appropriately. Just work it around until it's got the shape of the appropriate containment seat style. I wanted to add a little bit of additional detail with this, so I got some 2mm thick craft foam, and rather than cutting out some pads of the shape that I wanted or trying to use a laser or some sort of Cricut, I decided to try something new, and I designed up a 3D printed stamp style design to actually cut the foam pads as I wanted. I've never done this before, and I thought it was just worth a shot. I used a 0.1 millimeter tolerance between the two halves of the stamp. I even put a little bit of a ridge detail in there to try and act as a cutting face. From there, I used some screws for alignment. And then I just whacked this thing with a hammer until it felt like it was down pretty solid through. It cut through the foam almost everywhere. There was a few places that I needed to go back in with an X-Acto knife and just clean it up. But in the end, it worked out pretty well. It's probably overkill and unnecessary, but it was kind of a fun project to give a shot. The interior that I've worked up so far is a work in progress. I designed up this dash and it bolts in through the top side of the cowl. This is a very similar dash to another Fordyce project I have going on, so I kind of just repurposed this design and added some different mounting for it. But it fits in there really well, contours to the dash, it's got a similar style, and it's made to hold a voltmeter. So in a later episode, we'll probably install that voltmeter into place, where the gauge cluster goes. I decided to change up my mounting style a little bit and came up with some mounts to bolt these seats into the chassis. I think these mounts are probably going to be temporary for now. I'll probably come up with something a little bit different here in the future, but at least it gets them in place at this point. So that does it for this week's upgrades. We continue to work on performance and some styling at the same point. I have been conscious to try and keep cutting weight out where I want it, even though we're adding it back in other places. Getting rid of that battery tray isn't a huge weight savings, but there's some mass to it, and getting the battery low and forward, while it does make me run smaller packs, which is typically what I do anyway, it's a bit of a bonus for me in that way. Now, of course, like I said, it's a compromise. You're not going to be running as big of battery packs, but I will put up that battery tray for download for free if you like. The dash that I put in here and the seats, for right now, those are going to be a work in progress. I am going to put the cost that I paid for the seats to be laser cut and the foam, as that's part of the budget. So I'm not going to be skimping out or prototyping, as Matt put it, but we're going to put it in there. They're just not going to be available yet. It's something I'm going to continue to work on, try and get those in a way that you guys could add them to something you like if you have a build that maybe it's appropriate for. We're getting closer to the end of this build. We only have 2 weeks left after this one, and I'm hoping for a good spin. Give me something freaking good this time. Let's hope. God. Watch the live stream takeover this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. See what I'm going to get. I have 2 shots left at this thing. So, fingers crossed. Let's will a good one in for me on this one. But I'm pretty happy with how this truck's going so far. There's a couple of big upgrades that I would really like to do, but I'm going to need some luck on my side to be able to get it done in the budget build format. If you guys have some suggestions for next week on a budget, let me know what you got. This truck is going to be getting really close to where I would ideally want it for performance at this point already. So there's not a ton left in some areas left to do. We need a servo. That would be a big one. I would really like to do some wheels to go along with the style of Hot Wheel that we had a handful of weeks back as well. But again, we need some cash to get this all done. With that, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.